Hello, and welcome to the MMA Mic Drop Podcast. My name is Jade Bunky. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about everything that's about to go down at UFC 313, Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. And this main event is absolutely insane. It is the main event we've all been asking for, and we're going to get it. It features the biggest star in the UFC in Alex Pereira against what many people believe is his toughest test to date in Magomed Ankalaev. And I'm going to break this fight down in a moment, and I'm going to break down every single fight in a moment. But first, let's get an overall feeling for the card. How good is this pay-per-view? How does it rank, stack up against other pay-per-views? It's a good card. I mean, like I just said, you have the biggest star in the UFC in Alex Pereira. You have a co-main event featuring Justin Gaethje. And then it drops off a bit. There's still good fights. Those fights are pay-per-view main card worthy if they were sandwiched in with a couple other high-level fights. So it's lacking a little bit of star power after that, but the prelims are really good. Outside of one fight, the prelims are all pretty fascinating. So overall, I would give it a B. It is a good pay-per-view. It is worth watching, and that main event, you really can't get any better than that. So let's break down each fight. So Magomed Ankalaev takes on Alex Pereira for a crack at the belt. And when we look at Alex Pereira, we already know what you're going to get with him. He is an elite level kickboxer. He is a 2-division champion. He has he has the biggest power anyone has ever seen in light heavyweight. He is the hardest hitter in the division's history. He touches you once and you're out. But beyond that, it's the assortment of strikes you get from him on your feet. He has no tell with his low leg kicks. He can throw a kick high at a moment's notice. He blends kicks and punches very well. You already know that because he is an elite level kickboxer. The thing to watch out for now, though, is his chin. He's 37 years old. And, how will his chin respond if he gets cracked pretty hard? We don't know yet. We've seen him hurt before. We've seen him get hurt against Israel Adesanya, but again, that was him dropping all the way down to 185. He's fighting at 205 now. He won't have the same problem per se, but again, age catches up to everyone. Is it his time? But despite his age, I still expect him to be a little quicker than Magomed Ankalaev, and I expect him to win the stand-up pretty handedly. Now, Magomed Ankalaev, he's a good fighter. In fact, he's only lost once. He's 14-1. His one loss came against Paul Craig in a fight that he was winning. So he could easily be 15-0. And imagine the hype if he was 15-0. He is a good wrestler, but I don't think he's an elite level wrestler. He is a good striker. He doesn't have that technical acumen that Alex Pereira has, but he has really strong tip kicks. He has an assortment of weapons that he can deploy at any given time. And he brings a more well-rounded approach. Now, and that's what most people are concerned about with Alex Pereira. You have somebody that is going to look to grapple at times. Alex Pereira is not a grappler, but let's not forget he has been training with Glover Teixeira for years now. He has been in the UFC for years now. And so I imagine his takedown and defense has improved. His jiu-jitsu has improved. His wrestling has improved. I think his overall ground game has improved. We don't get to see it much because people mistakenly want to strike with him, and we all know what happens there. With that said, the odds are close, and let me take a second to look at it. I mean, they're shockingly close. I think, let's see. What do we have here? We have Alex Pereira at a -118 favorite, Magomed Ankalaev at a -102, so it's pretty much a pick'em. I think this is going to be Alex Pereira, and the reason why, yes, Magomed Ankalaev can get Alex Pereira to the ground. He can control a round. He can win a round here and there with control. But Pereira just needs to hit him once, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think he hits him cleanly by the third round and give me Alex Pereira TKO third round. All right, next up we have Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev. This is a rematch in which Gaethje won the first fight, but if I look at the odds, Fiziev is the -142 favorite. Gaethje is a +120. This is a fascinating matchup, and hey, let's give the UFC some credit. This was supposed to be Justin Gaethje versus Dan Hooker. Rafael Fiziev said he'll do it with 2 weeks notice, which is pretty insane because the problem with Fiziev is he doesn't have good cardio. And we saw that in that fight against Justin Gaethje. He really started to gas. In his first one, he started to gas in the third round. We've seen him in other fights where he has started to gas. And so that's going to be a problem with somebody taking a fight on 2 weeks notice. He is an elite level kickboxer. He blends punches and kicks fluidly. He goes to the body well. He mixes up his strikes. He is probably the best striker in the lightweight division. Now, when you move over to Justin Gaethje, we all know what he has. He is the human highlight. He does spectacular things, and he does it against the highest level of competition. He has 25-5 with 21 finishes. Think about that. That's insane, particularly against the persons against whom he's competed. When you look at his 5 losses, they all came to former champs, or at least in Dustin Poirier's, it's a former interim champ, but he lost to Khabib Nurmagomedov, Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira, Eddie Alvarez, and then Dustin Poirier. Those are his only losses. And he is coming off that devastating loss. I mean, he was battling Max Holloway last year at UFC 300, and they went toe-to-toe in that last 10 seconds, and he got knocked out about as hard as anybody could possibly get knocked out. And so I have to question, where's his chin at this particular point in his career? He is somebody that delivers a lot of damage, but he also receives a lot of damage. And that's going to be a problem against Fiziev. And so this fight assessment has to be balanced by where is Justin Gaethje at age 37 with potentially a compromised chin compared to where is Fiziev coming in off an injury, but coming in off 2 weeks notice when cardio's already been a problem. And I actually don't know if this is a 5-round fight or if it's a 3-round fight, because that might change my perspective on this. So let me go. I'm just going to check real quickly, because if it's a 5-round fight, this is going to be a problem for Fiziev given his cardio. So let me see. Oh, it is not a 5-round fight, and that's good news for Rafael Fiziev. And I think this is going to favor him. I think he is going to slow down in the third, but I think he's going to have the speed advantage over the first 2 rounds. I think he's going to lock up the first 2 rounds. I think Justin Gaethje is going to come strong in that last round and give me Fiziev by a fun and entertaining decision. All right. The featured bout is Jalin Turner versus Ignacio Bahamondes. This is a fascinating fight, and it's interesting. I'm looking at the odds right now, and Bahamondes is a -112. Jalin Turner is a -108, and I think that's off. I think Jalin Turner is much better. Now, when you look at Bahamondes, what do you get? He's a really good striker. He's got really good kicks. He has really good movement, really light on his feet. A very fluid striker. But I think Jalin Turner is just, I think he has more power. In fact, he does. He's 14-8. All 14 wins have come by finish. He's well-rounded. I think he's more well-rounded. He's the better grappler. And he has, like I said, really good power with his strikes as well. I think this is a step up in competition that might be a little too much for Bahamondes. I mean, we forget that, Jalin Turner has a couple recent losses. One was against Moicano, where he flatlined him, made a bad decision, walked away, thought it was a walk-off, and then ended up losing. And the other one is against Dan Hooker, who he was beating, but Dan Hooker just found a different gear and somehow, managed to win with a broken arm and a broken cheekbone. And, but what it did show was when Jalin Turner is on his game, he gets the edge against some of the most elite people in this division. And I think that's what's going to happen. And I think this is going to be a pretty short fight. Give me Jalin Turner by 2nd round submission. All right. Next up, we have Amanda Lemos versus Iasmin Lucindo. This is another good fight. Lemos, has been a top contender for a while. She has big power I think she's finished all but 3 of her wins by finish, which is incredible for the division she's in. The only problem is she is 37 and she is going against somebody who's real young. She is only 23 years old in Lucindo. And outside of her first loss in her debut at 22 years old, she has won every fight since then, increasingly stepping up in competition. And when you look at some of the losses on her record, and I'm speaking about Lucindo, they're not that bad considering that she started when she was 16 years old. She started really young and she keeps getting better. I think this is one of those quintessential changing of the guard moments. And I think Lucindo is going to run circles around Lemos. I don't know if she's going to put her out, but give me Lucindo by decision and a fairly convincing decision, and Lucindo will arrive, at the doorstep of contention. All right, opening the card, we have King Green against Maurício Ruffy. Now let's see. Oh, I didn't give you the. Sorry, I did not give you the odds. Lucindo is a -148. Lemos plus 124. Opening the main card, King Green versus Maurício Ruffy. Ruffy is a -455 favorite, and I agree with that. I think he's going to smash Bobby Green, or King Green, as his new name suggests. When you look at King Green, he's has fast hands. He's light on his feet. He moves in and out. Has an incredible amount of skill. Doesn't always utilize it to the best of his ability, though. And it's interesting, even up to age 37, he has looked very quick. And that's, been his bread and butter. It's his quickness, right? But at age 38, I think he's going to fall off, and I think he's going to fall off hard, and I think he's going to fall off in this fight. We saw him, get worked by Paddy Pimblett. I think this is going to be different. When you look at Maurício, he comes forward. He's very methodical and he's very precise. He's not reckless at all. And, he waits for his moment and then he capitalizes. And then once he hurts you, he turns it up, and then he finishes you. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think Maurício is going to finish King Green in the first round, but towards the end of the first round, he's going to wait to see. He's going to test his speed, and then he's going to realize, okay, I got this. And then he's going to, I think, close the distance and finish Green. So give me Maurício by first round TKO. All right. The main event, the top prelim, Curtis Blaydes. And this is one of the reasons why, this card is pretty solid. Curtis Blaydes is on the prelim. He is not a prelim fighter. He is a main event fighter. He is going against Rizvan Kuniev. Curtis Blaydes is a -325 favorite. Kuniev plus 260. And this is a bad matchup for Kuniev. I think Blaydes is going to absolutely destroy him. Blaydes is the best wrestler in the heavyweight division. And, he's had some mixed results lately. But again, Tom Aspinall, who is the best fighter in the heavyweight division, that's the last person against whom he's lost. He beat Almeida before that, although that was a little more back and forth than you might think if you just looked at the stats or the outcome. But I think Curtis Blaydes is going to smash this guy. He hits pretty hard as well. I think he's going to just control him. Give me Curtis Blaydes by second round TKO by ground and pound. All right. So TKO, yeah. All right. Before that, we have Joshua Van versus Ray Tsuruya. And I'm going to start going pretty quickly through these fights. Josh Van, he's ranked number 15 now. He is a really good all-around fighter. He takes a little long to get going, but once he gets going, he is good everywhere, has good wrestling, good jiu-jitsu, good striking, fairly quick, really good, really young. I believe he's like 23, 24. Rates Tsuruya is younger. I believe he's around the same age, but I know he's a year younger. Josh Van is -198. Ray is +164. Give me Josh Van, but this is one that can go either way. This is an excellent fight, worth paying close attention to. All right. Bruno Ferreira versus Armen Petrosyan. Another great fight. Bruno Ferreira, dude hits hard, really hard. He has one punch knockout power. He is coming off a loss. You can beat him by wrestling, but that's not going to happen because Armen Petrosyan is a kickboxer, and he's an excellent kickboxer. And so it's going to be one of those matches where you're going to have somebody with superior technical acumen in Petrosyan, but you're going to have somebody with more raw power in Bruno Ferreira. And I think, and I don't think the gap is so big, given that Petrosyan is now 34 years old. I'm going to lean Ferreira. I think he's going to crack him. I think I think he might be losing this fight slightly, but I think he's going to crack Petrosyan, and I think he's going to knock him out. Give me my third round knockout. All right. Before that, we have a couple more fights. Alex Morono versus Carlos Leal. And it's funny because did I give you the odds? Let me just check. All right. Okay, yeah. Armen Petrosyan minus 155, Bruno Ferreira plus 130. It's going to be a good fight, but I would go with Ferreira. Now, Alex Morono, so this dude's a wild man, right? He comes out, he swings wild, he has a lot of volume. Sometimes he looks good, sometimes he looks terrible. You never know what you're going to get. He is an elite level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, but he never uses it. So you never know what you're going to get. Will he stick to a game plan that works for him? I don't know. Now, Carlos Leal, he is a minus 700 favorite, which is just crazy. Alex Morono is plus 5,500, and Morono can win this fight. It depends where this fight will take place. And I think, Carlos looked good against a fighter that was supposed to smash him, and he lost a controversial decision. But does that mean he is automatically going to beat Alex Morono? I don't know what it is, but give me, in the biggest upset of the night, Alex Morono by decision. All right, 2 more fights to go, and these will be even quicker than the other 2. All right. Marion Santos comes in at a minus 355 favorite against Francis Marshall. Again, 2 decent prospects, fun fight. I am going to take Santos by decision. And then the opener in this fight, honestly, is the one fight. I don't think this belongs on a pay-per-view, even prelim. This should be on a fight night card. Djorden Santos versus Ozzy Diaz. Ozzy Diaz is a plus 160 underdog, Santos minus 192 favorite. Give me Santos by decision. And that is it. If you have disagreements, please put them in the comments. Like, subscribe, and I am out.